I remember President Bush saying to me one time in the Oval Office, and he was a great guy, I enjoyed being with him, he said to me, he said, "Well, Joe," he said, "I'm a leader." And I said, "Mr. President, turn around and look behind you. No one's following."
He never said these kind of things. I hate to say it, but he's a serial exaggerator. If I was being unkind, I'd say he's a liar, but it is a habit he ought to drop. You should not exaggerate and lie like this when you're the vice president.
So where's the truth? Joining us live right now is former Bush White House press secretary Ari Fleischer. Thank you for being with us. You served in the White House, Ari, from 2001 to 2003. So let's pose the question to you. Do you recall Senator Biden at the time saying any of the things he claimed? Could he have said it privately to the president?
I don't recall him ever saying that. In fact, the times that Senator Biden was in the Oval Office or private meetings with the president, he was always accompanied by either the chairman of the Senate Foreign Relations Committee or by an appropriate member from the House International Relations Committee. And in those meetings, I always attended them. And I never once heard him say anything like that. I think this could be clarified if he would only release the date that he says this encounter took place. Then all of us could go and look at our notes and see if it's so.
Suffice to say, the vice president had said that he spent, quote, lots of hours alone with him. You're obviously refuting that. But let me pose this to you. Are these fights good for the GOP or for the Obama administration? Democrats seem to be excited to have Karl Rove once again as their Republican boogeyman of sorts, much the same way as when Democrats attacked Rush Limbaugh after he recently insisted that he wanted President Obama to fail. So who wins?
Well, frankly, my question is, where is the press in all of this? If Dick Cheney had said that he had a private meeting with Bill Clinton and he in that meeting told Bill Clinton that Bill Clinton was wrong, I think all the press would have said to Cheney, when did you do it? Back it up. Where are the dates? There's no scrutiny here for Joe Biden. And that's why I wonder why the issue is what Karl said. I think Karl is actually clarifying the issue and saying it probably didn't happen. Karl says it didn't happen. I never saw it happen. But doesn't the vice president get held to a certain level of scrutiny? That's what I think is missing from this whole equation.
And trusting right now that reporters in Washington are mulling over to find out whatever information they can about whatever the vice president now had said when he was senator to try to put those facts together. If we refer to these comments, though, you've served in a White House and you've had your critics from outside. Is it over the top, though? Is it appropriate for Karl Rove, someone outside the Oval Office, outside the White House, to use that language toward a vice president, calling them a liar?
Well, for heaven's sake, that's just about the only word Democrats wanted to use when they were talking about George W. Bush. So I don't think it's, if it was good enough for the last 8 years and people didn't question the tactic, I don't know why they question it now. You know, Karl speaks politics with what I would call a tough New York accent. That's his right. And I think if he didn't raise this issue, Joe Biden would have had a total pass. Nobody's asking those tough questions until Karl made it an issue and to one of your rival networks made it an issue. Now I do hope that he does have to explain it. Maybe he said it. I wasn't there when he did. Nobody knows. I think it's incumbent on Joe Biden to back it up. I saw his spokesman didn't know what date it could be. He couldn't verify it, but he just said, we stand by it. Well, if they stand by it, I think they ought to back it up because it is being challenged by myself and by others who would have heard it or would have known about it.
Ari Fleischer, former press secretary for George W. Bush. We appreciate you spending time with us today. Thank you.
Thank you.